Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscaboo Horror Reviews, here with a Blu-ray DVD, vinyl, merch, pin collection update. I've been holding on to this stuff for a while because I keep, because I've had some of this stuff since May, and I've been meaning to put it in a collection video, but I would only have that, and then a few weeks later, I'd buy something, or somebody would, or I'd get my hands on something else, and I'd be like, well, now I have a couple things, but this isn't enough. So this is me just kind of waiting out. So some of this stuff is from as early as June, but May 13th is probably the earliest item I've got. So I guess I've got quite a few pins, some merch. I'm going to do that stuff last because not many people care about that. So I'll do the Blu-rays and DVDs first. This is the only new Blu-ray I bought. I bought Annihilation right off the bat as soon as it came out because I heard this was a great film, and I heard from quite a few people, and it's directed by Alex Garland, who directed Ex Machina a few years back, which was a very good film that was a really good psychological thriller science fiction film about AIs, about artificial intelligence and robots, and it had a sexy robot chick in it, and on top of that, towards the last act, it became kind of a horror film. So I wanted to see what he could do with a horror kind of film, and that's what Annihilation is. It's essentially, there's this weird kind of section of land that is continually growing, that is covered in a dome of reflective light, and they call it the Shimmer, and inside the Shimmer, the laws of physics don't really apply, and there are all kinds of weird stuff, weird mutant creatures and stuff. It's a pretty interesting kind of think piece kind of movie. There are a lot of people who absolutely hated this, and I don't really understand why. Even as a popcorn film, or as just just watch it with a grain of salt kind of film, it was still great. It's very visually impressive. The effects were pretty good. The acting, I felt, was pretty good. The writing was good. The music was absolutely amazing. I hope they release the soundtrack to this film. But yeah, I really like this one. Annihilation, I'd actually really recommend that. It's kind of I would almost say kind of Lovecraftian film, with it being very fear of the unknown, but I think that might be pushing it. Next, I got this 4-pack of movies, which features, what is it? I gotta look on the front. Just Cause, which has Sean Connery in it. Dead Calm, which is a Samuel Neill, Nicole Kidman, and Billy Zane film, which neither of those I've seen. The one film I bought this for, because I found this for $1, and it was new. And I was like, okay, I can't turn this down. This is too good of a thing. It comes with Altered States, which I already own. Altered States. It's a body horror film directed by Ken Russell, who directed The Devils, and The Devils is one of my favorite movies, and Altered States is a really good body horror film. What else did Ken Russell do? He also did the rock opera, the Who's rock opera Tommy, which was also pretty great. But the big reason, because I don't think there's a single disc, its own edition release of this film out currently, as far as I know. I didn't do my research, but I figured for $1 to get, an upgrade from my used copy of Altered States, 2 movies I know nothing about, and a copy of this movie, which I didn't own, which I like. It's William Peter Blatty's The Ninth Configuration. This is directed by William Peter Blatty, who is the writer of the original novel that the film is based on. He also wrote the novel The Exorcist is based on, and he also wrote and directed Exorcist 3. This was a film he did right after Exorcist 3, and it's a weird mix of tragic comedy with some absurdist humor thrown in. Joe Spinell, the star of Maniacs, shows up in the film for a few seconds. He wanted to be in the film, but they didn't have a part for him, so they just kind of threw him in. And it's about a hospital that's an old castle in Europe, where all the patients are veterans of wars, and they all have their own problems. And while all this is happening, a new doctor shows up, and he makes a very special bond with one of the guys. And this movie's like a weird mix of like tragic comedy and drama and horror. It is fucking like interesting as hell for a movie I heard was a horror film, but it doesn't really get horror-esque till the end. But it's a very great film with themes of like self-sacrifice and human kindness. It's kind of sad too, but you see the crucifixion of Christ at the moon landing in this film, so that's something you could say. I like the ninth configuration. Onto the CDs and vinyls. I bought a album from Skeleton Witch. Those of you who don't know, I'm quite the fan of Skeleton Witch. Only just recently started getting into them, but I have their album, Breathing the Fire, on vinyl, which is a great album. And this one I bought completely on a whim because I had heard about this one and I wanted to get it, and it was kind of cheap. So, yeah. Skeleton Witch is a band based out of Athens, Ohio. For those of you who don't know, I live in Ohio. So it's kind of cool to have a black thrash metal band, like this heavy-ass band, come from my state. You know, it's kind of cool for me. But it comes with this poster of the... I'm trying to, like, flatten that shit out so you can really appreciate that. Look at that. Poster of the full cover art for the album, which is very, very nice. You know, I like Skeleton Witch. I have their album Beyond the Permafrost, which is another one that is another great album from them. This one I haven't really gotten the chance to listen to much of it, but from what I've heard from fans of Skeleton Witch, this is like one of their best works. Yeah, you know. I heard from somebody, I heard actually the cashier at the place I bought this at, he noticed I was buying this album, and he's like, you know, he said that he used to be a music critic and online, and he said that this album is one of those albums that comes along that makes it that makes you proud to be a metalhead because it's so good. So I'm gonna have to get around to this one. I haven't been listening to much recently. Next is the big release this year, the one album I've been hyped for ever since it announced. I'm not even joking. The night it was announced, the night it went on pre-order, I bought it and pre-ordered it ahead of time because I wanted it so bad. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big fan of Ghost. They're a fairly recent kind of black metal, kind of radio pop fusion band that I've heard some serious hate for because they aren't like as heavy as their album covers and their look makes them out to be, but at the same time it's that stark contrast from their very heavy look and their very kind of smooth music that is very interesting. You know, you don't hear music about the occult and about Satan that is performed this calmly and smoothly, and that's what I love about Ghost. Is they're a very unique band for a satanic metal band. So I got their new album Prequel, which I don't know if that makes it on the. I guess no, I guess it doesn't have that effect. Well, yeah, you can kind of see it's a lenticular cover art, which I'm pretty sure this is limited, and it also. I'm pretty sure this is just a straight black vinyl. Let me just double check here. No, it is not, so I'm going to have to get that out. Okay. It also comes with a little single, which is the 2 bonus tracks on the deluxe version, which are covers of 2 songs. One is Avalanche, which that's probably one of my favorite tracks from this album, and the other is a cover from the 80s synth pop group the Pet Shop Boys, and it's a cover of their song It's a Sin, which I didn't even know either of those songs were not originally Ghost songs, so I assumed that they were original songs by Ghost, and I was like, man, these are pretty good, and I listened to the original versions, and I'm like, oh, okay. It also comes with a poster of the cover art, which I plan on getting a frame for this bad boy, because this thing is pretty decent sized for, you know, oh fuck. Shit. Pretty decent sized poster of the cover art. I'll be honest, when I'll be honest, when they first announced this album and they, you know, they showed off the cover art, I was a little wary because the cover art just kind of looked like an old medieval painting, and I wasn't really down with that. But now that I've sat and listened to the album and listened to it on repeat ever since it was announced at the beginning of this month, I've pretty much come to love this cover art, and the artwork on the back is very nice. The slip that the vinyl comes in, featuring Cardinal Copia and the Ghouls, lyrics on the back. The vinyl itself is a red with kind of blood, kind of dark black splotches on it. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. I don't know whether or not it being colored is limited or not, so I'm not going to say anything about that, but still, this is one of my favorite albums this year, honestly. It's so far this year. You know, and this is one of the albums I've been hyped for ever since the release of Meliora, ever since the release of fucking Popestar. Before there was even a new album really in the works, I've been hyped for their next album. So, you know, it's great that I got it, and now I'm only missing Opus Eponymous, which is their first album. That's the only one I'm missing on vinyl. Next, I went to see Ghost, actually, on the 13th of May. You know, it was a very, very good show. Very, very fun. I got a little rat pin, which cost me 15 bucks. Kind of expensive, kind of expensive. And the other piece of merch is the shirt I'm wearing, which I wanted to get the one that had the artwork for the new album on it, but they didn't have that one. They didn't have copies. They didn't have any, you know, ones of it anymore. It's got the tour dates on the back, which is very nice. And finally, I've got a couple more pins to show off here that I just kind of randomly purchased, as well as actually one little trinket keychain that I forgot I have hanging up. But Harry Potter Deathly Hallows pin. Don't think anybody knows this that follows my channel, but I'm a Harry Potter fan. I like the books, and the movies were very, very entertaining, so I like to show my appreciation for it. I will gladly wear that pin. You know, I have all these pins, and I wear only like 8 of them at a time on my jacket. Got this sweet, awesome fucking set of Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein pins, which glow in the dark. Let me see if I can try and get that effect. No. No. Damn. But either way, they glow in the dark. They do. I've turned off the lights and looked myself. They're very, very nice enamel pins. And the last pin I got is an It pin, which very, very cool that they make these. It is an enamel pin based on the old miniseries of It, which is the paper boat. It says SS Georgie and We All Float Down Here, which that old miniseries scared the hell out of me as a kid, but now I rewatch it and I laugh. But I still like it. I think it's pretty entertaining. And on to the last little thing, which is something I completely fucking forgot I had, so I've just gotta grab it right here. Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but I have a decent collection of Funko Pops. The only reason I have them is because they're easy gifts to get for somebody like me who likes horror films. Because you can just get me the ones for like A Clockwork Orange and The Crow, and even, you know, stuff like Sharknado, and I will enjoy them. I used to really be into collecting them, but now I don't really care for them at all. They've become this generation's Beanie Babies, and I'm kind of fucking sick of them and the community surrounding the collecting of them. But I saw this, and I just knew I had to get it. And it's a keychain Funko Pop, but I don't plan on putting it on a keychain. I plan on just kind of hanging it on the wall. It's the Bob Ross pop keychain, because I couldn't say no to Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. Who doesn't love Bob Ross? I mean, come on. He's one of the greatest of the greats of, you know, of fucking artists, honestly. But with that, I am actually done here. This is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews, signing off. Peace.